Thank you. Madam Secretary, thank you for your thorough, thoughtful, and forthright answers. It's what we've become accustomed to from you. I understand we're going to be able to welcome you one more time when you come tomorrow to be part of introducing Senator Kerry to the committee, so we'll look forward to welcoming you there as well. I think that there are several takeaways here that are incredibly important. One is that we have to look at the totality of the threat environment versus just looking for a specific credible threat when we are thinking about the protection of our foreign service personnel, and I see that we are moving in that direction. The other one is the changes in the department to have clear lines of authority and responsibility for security matters instead of silos and looking more at a horizontal nature, and I understand that that is underway. A lot has been said about resources here. You know, Secretary Gates used to famously argue that there are more people in military bands than in the entire Foreign Service. It seems to me that surely we can find the funds to protect our diplomats who serve on the front lines. I am concerned when the ARB says that the State Department has been engaged for years in a struggle to obtain the resources necessary to carry out its work, and that has conditioned the thinking of some in the State Department that it is imperative for the State Department to be mission-driven rather than resource-constrained, particularly in increasingly risky parts of the world. So I look forward to immediately working with the ranking member and reaching out for Chairman Royce to get that transfer authority within the existing budget. It's not about additional money. It's about taking money that has already been appropriated so that you have the ability to start working, and the next secretary has the ability to start working to protect our people as robustly as we can. And failure to do so, I think, is going to be a poor judgment on this Congress if we can't get you, at minimum, that transfer authority. And finally, I know a lot has been made about the question of what was said and what was not said, and I simply think about that in the context that there are lessons to be learned there as well. In our drive to produce information about a tragedy, an incident, we want to be able to get information as quickly as possible, as we should. But I think what we know and what we don't know is equally as important. And maybe the admonition that we should know before we speak is incredibly important. That would have been incredibly important when we were told that there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And as someone who voted against the Iraq War in the House and didn't believe, based upon what I was able to review, that there was such information, I look, when we talk about tragedies, and certainly Benghazi was a tragedy. When we lost 4,486 American lives in Iraq, and thousands who have been injured and changed their lives forever and increased the influence of Iran, I think, from my own personal perspective, that was truly a tragedy. And so there are lessons to be learned here. There'll be questions for the committee to be able to ask for the record for the close of business tomorrow, since we don't expect you to be too much longer in your position. And with the thanks of the committee for your appearance here today and your service. And Senator Corker, final word.
I would actually add three more takeaways, and I know they're based not only on testimony here today, but conversations we've had over the last several days. You alluded to the over-the-transom issues that the State Department and the White House deal with on a constant basis. I think this committee will be useful and can be useful in setting a long-term exploration of what our national interest is, so that we look at this over a longer-term context. I know you alluded to that in your testimony. Secondly, I know we've talked extensively about the importance of having a full authorization, that actually would be very helpful to people like you who come in for a very short period of time for us to help set those priorities. That would be something you would embrace and something this committee has never done since I've been here. And thirdly, that we live in a world now where we know that al-Qaeda is going to be a threat in North Africa for years to come, and we need to have policies that realize that and address it. I, too, thank you for your service. I know a lot of nice things will be said again tomorrow when you come here, but thank you so much. I appreciate it.
On that bipartisan note, and with the thanks of the committee is adjourned.
The Senate Foreign Relations Committee hearing emptying out pretty quickly. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton testifying for 2.5 hours on the Benghazi attacks, the attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi, Libya, that left 4 Americans dead, including U.S. Ambassador Christopher Stevens. This is the first of 2 hearings she'll have today. The second is coming up this afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll have that live for you as well. But right now we're going to take some reaction, your thoughts on what you heard from Secretary Clinton, what you thought of the questioning. The numbers to call are 202-585-3885 if you're a Democrat. Republicans, 202-585-3886. Independents and all others, 202-585.